Karen demands I move my semi. So to start, I'm a hazmat driver. I haul cryogenics like liquid nitrogen, oxygen and argon in a large tanker. Which sometimes to make deliveries I have to take up the entire parking lot. There's really no other way to make the delivery. Well, I arrived at the customer and got backed in to start offloading some nitrogen. This Karen, with the haircut and all, pulls up in her car, then starts yelling at me and being rude as hell, telling me I need to move my truck and I can't be blocking the path out. And blah blah blah. I have no patience for being disrespected. So I maliciously comply. I got her name and I called my boss, told him I was being harassed and yelled at by a Karen at this stop and I was going to leave. He's a really cool guy and completely understands. Says he'll call over and talk to the boss of the company I was at and explain why they weren't getting their delivery. So they use the liquid nitrogen for their lasers and such. And they were almost empty. They ran out and had to shut down operations until another driver got out there to make the delivery, which wasn't for at least 2 days. Not sure what was said between my boss and hers, but I haven't seen her car there since. I hope she got reamed for causing company to run out of whatever op was trying to deliver and suffering needless delay. Meanwhile, when I worked at a sub shop, when the delivery guy got there, we would take his order and make him a sandwich as he helped us unload. Then let him grab some chips and a soda on his way out. Once we were hit with an unexpected early rush and this dude unloaded the entire truck himself and neatly placed everything exactly where I was supposed to go and was happy to do so. Everyone has work to do and that job sucks. I'm sure. Being a bitch will only make everything take longer and make everyone miserable. But just the fact the driver knew he was appreciated made truck day a lot better for everyone and we got everything done more quickly and efficiently. All because of a single free lunch combo and basic respect each week. I haul fuel and people act the same way at gas stations. We might be coworkers. If we are, I know that it's part of the original contract process to assess the site for possibilities for delivery. Some people don't realize how hard it can be to find a location to set up shop that is going to work for the industrial delivery needs. If you have them in a location appropriate for your client base, and in a rental, lease price point you want to pay. In some cases, the ability to obtain gas products like these can break a business. In some others it can cost loss of potential life. There are some business in the city where there are no alleys or reasonable alternate solutions in. Our trucks have to double park to make their deliveries all the way from top fills to individual cylinders and dewars. I work in the business office of my company. Please know I appreciate how hard the drivers work for our company and our customers. I said once long ago that the drivers and ops teams were the most important people in our company. It offended some of the office folks. But they forget that if we didn't have people like you to do what you do, there would be no work for us. Good for you. I'm fed up of people who prefer to yell and pontificate rather than check the facts. Serves her right. How do you know she worked there? As a Class A tow truck driver running a 60-ton rotator. You wouldn't believe how many Karens approach me while I've got a semi halfway off the ground, trying to upright it and demand I open the road now cause she's got somewhere to be. Do I know who she is? Etc. Goo on ya on the malicious compliance. That is why you never bother the delivery drivers. A fellow industry professional I see. I've dealt with all sorts of idiots like this in the course of making my deliveries. Luckily my boss always has his drivers' backs. He used to do this too. We don't take any shit. The customer ordered it. They should be expecting it and make sure my path is clear. If they're not there or my path is obstructed, guess what? You're not getting your gas because it has now become a safety issue. It's sad that we have to train our customers nowadays. But that's what it's come to, I guess. I'm union though, so I get paid by the hour. Whether you get your gas or not. Sorry. I had an experience almost the opposite of this a couple of years ago. Pre-COVID, I was visiting patients in a care home in a cul-de-sac. Nothing else down there except a few houses. When I came out, with more patients to visit before my afternoon surgery, there was a truck with a refrigeration unit stopped blocking in all the cars in the small parking area. The driver reckoned that because he had just started some sort of maintenance cycle on his refrigeration unit, I should wait the 90 minutes that would take. Well, mate, perhaps you should have found somewhere less obnoxious to stop. Unlike Op, he had absolutely no need to be down that cul-de-sac. In fact, he had turned off a wide road with no parking restrictions to get there. He did move, making it clear that he thought I was the one being unreasonable. Given that he was in a truck with his company details and phone number printed on the side, you can bet that I would have been phoning his boss, if only to give them 60 seconds warning that I would be calling the police. Op walks around the side of the truck, re-emerges with a hose aimed at Karen. Chill out, says Op before proceeding to open the valve, covering her in LN2, the solution to a fiery temper. He remarks, "The joys of being on specialized transport. Pallet slingers deal with all sorts because there's so much competition pushing the rates down. I'm glad to be out of the industry completely. Lot shouldn't have only one exit. Company I work for currently runs like a halfway house. Very militant in enforcing break times. If I had to shit and get, I'd probably show my ass too. On the flip side, when the company called me out on it, it would be a pretty quick conversation. When I had my first out of high school job, I parked my car near a delivery ramp because I was carrying a bunch of heavy shit into the building. A hazmat delivery man asked me to move my car. I probably looked annoyed at him until he explained that the acid he was offloading would melt my car if anything went wrong. Nothing went wrong, but I sure as heck had moved my car and only ever parked by the departure ramp next to the employee exit after that. Always be nice to the hazmat man, because they are normally as concerned with your safety as they are with their own. Funny shit. You with Prax are another big name. I haul scrap metal for an enormous company with an army of lawyers and bean counters. We bill for everything. Our main clientele is scrap yards and factories. We bill for the service call and any extra time. But then we pay the client for the metal they've sold us. So most clients are more than happy to accommodate us, as it almost always makes them a profit on otherwise lost material. Suffice to say, if we show up and the container isn't ready, most clients bend over backwards to get us what we need before we just leave empty. Most will also move heaven and earth to avoid us billing for wait times as well. It's also nice being an outside contractor and not having to put up with any client BS. I just call my boss if they're making a problem and let management deal with issues. And hosing her down with LN2 would only slow her down for a few minutes. I'm a little bit disappointed here. Have been waiting for a story end where you spill some of liquid nitrogen on her car. By pure accident, of course. This is how these people need to be dealt with. Quickly and ruthlessly. My ex was a dentist and people who couldn't behave or yelled at staff were fired as patients from the practice. Life is too short to put up with these people. If I move my semi, it generally ends up fully erect. We used a lane-cooled gamma detector at a lab and ran out once for a few days. Took a few more to get the temps stabilized so we could run again. Fuck you, Karen.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.